Hello everyone. I'd like to be one of the first to wish you a very happy new year. Hopefully your Christmas season went well, whether you were simply relaxing, spending some time with family, or if you were in the whole Christmas rush. I hope that however you celebrated the holiday season, that it was enjoyable for you. And I'm recording this in this kind of interesting week between Christmas and New Year's, where to me it kind of really feels like a lost week. You know, it's where we don't really remember the day and we're not really paying attention to time, and a lot of people are off schedule. And you know, even when I did work through this week, for some reason it just felt like we're waiting for the new year to begin after the holidays ended. And I've been thinking a bit about what to start the New Year's off with for a vlog, and I think that one of the things I wanted to touch on was something we often do at New Year's, and that's, you know, the idea of New Year's resolutions. And so if you're like me, you're someone who takes a look at their life, thinks, oh man, I should be doing this and this and this differently, and I need to change this and eat better and lose weight, or whatever it is on your list. And then we make all of these massive changes to our lifestyle that we think are going to get us to those goals. I don't know if you've ever started the gym in January, or you've been at the gym during a January start when everybody under the sun is there. It's busy, there's basically no room to move, and then give it 3 months and people are not there anymore. Or, you know, people start a new diet and it lasts for a month and then they're done. And I was giving some thought about why this may be the case, and I think part of what happens is that we forget to acknowledge why we ended up doing what we were doing in the first place. So when we're living life without actually giving thought to the habits we're forming, the choices we're making, we tend to make those choices based on just what works at the time. So there are certain things in life that we have to make work. We have to look after our kids. We have to make sure our families are fed, or we're fed, or, you know, for a lot of us, we have to go to work and we have to make payments. And, you know, we have all of these demands on us. And what we tend to do is we make time for things, and we make things fit based on what's important and what needs to occur. Now, the challenge with this is that a lot of times, without giving it thought, we end up with some pretty unhealthy strategies. So for example, a lot of people after COVID ended up ordering, you know, DoorDash or Skip the Dishes or whatever, a lot more than they used to, because it was easy and it gave them more time to do things that maybe they would have prepared or would have given to food preparation. Now, the challenge with suddenly deciding you're going to have a New Year's resolution and you're going to upend every unhealthy habit you have and start something new is that if you don't address the reason why you formed that unhealthy habit in the first place, suddenly deciding that's not what you're going to do anymore isn't necessarily going to work, because your whole world is organized around that being the way you do things. So for example, you may have a bunch of commitments after school for kids, or you may have, you know, scheduled dates with your partner, or you may have other expectations from your work or whatever. And if you suddenly decide, okay, well, for an hour every day after work, I'm going to go to the gym, trying to fit that into your life is not going to happen, because you're not going to be able to suddenly drop everything else to make sure that it works. And this type of thinking causes people a lot of frustration, because it feels like no matter what they do, they cannot change these habits. But actual habit change requires you to really take a look at what you're doing and why you're doing it, and being willing to consider adjustments in your life to make things last long term. So you can't suddenly decide that you're going to, you know, start a second job without making room in your schedule for that second job. Just the same as you can't suddenly decide you're going to keep your house cleaner without maybe making room for actually cleaning your house on a certain day. Trying to stack on top of what you've already got isn't going to help. And so what I would recommend for a successful New Year's resolution, if you're the type who makes them, or just a successful life change, even if it's not New Year's for you, is that you first of all sit down and take inventory of why you're doing that particular habit, or what it is that particular habit is helping you with. Is it time management? Is it emotional regulation? Is it just you don't want to do it? Is it just complete and utter disinterest? What is it that maintains that habit? And once you know that, then you can figure out what you need to do to go about making plans to change it. And so if it's a time management situation that you're trying to change, if you want to introduce something new into your environment, into your life, you're likely going to have to drop something else. And what is that going to be? Is that thing that you would have to drop worth less than what you want to add in? Is it valuable to you to make it to the gym, let's say 4 times a week? Or is it more valuable to you to be home to meet your kids when they get off the bus and to help them with their homework? And nobody can define that for you. It seems like that's something that should have a right or wrong answer, but it really doesn't. Nobody can tell you what you should value most, and nobody can tell you which takes priority. Sometimes for some people, maintaining their fitness has to take priority because of health reasons. For other people, spending time with their kids when they get home from work always is priority no matter what. Whereas other people realize, okay, that's something that we're going to have to adjust and make work differently. So you need to give some thought as to what your new lifestyle will look like with this change. The other thing that will really help is not trying to change too many things at once. So once you've identified something you want to change, and you've looked at your lifestyle, you've thought about, okay, why is this happening? What can I do to cause a different habit to be more preferable or more likely to happen? Then you need to stop and think, okay, what is most important here? So for some people it's health, for some people it's not, for some people it's money saving, for some people it's, most of the time it's the pretty dull and boring stuff of life that, most of us would sort of rather not do or just wish happened naturally, so we end up picking something else. But once you've picked that one thing, then look at that in a series of steps. So don't go right from, okay, I need to go to the gym and get more fit, to, okay, so I'm going to do that by going to the gym 5 days a week for, 52 weeks out of the year. That might not be feasible for you. It may sound good, you may think you can make it work, but the likelihood of you being able to do that is very, very small. And if you do actually manage to at least get that kind of a habit going, it's not going to last, because you're going to approach it with a very all or nothing way of thinking. So basically, well, if I don't make it 5 days this week, then why should I even bother? I'm just going to quit. I don't need to go today because I missed yesterday. And so your expectation of yourself is unrealistic. And then the disappointment you feel when you look at it through an all or nothing lens basically ensures that the change will pretty much fall apart, because it's impossible to make that much change without a lot of self-discipline and a lot of work. Some people can get themselves to the point where they can do that, but a lot of people, we can't. So once you've picked what you want to change and you've broken it down into small steps, pick a step that feels doable. So let's say your goal is to make it to the gym 5 days a week. Give yourself a time frame, and you may decide over the course of the year you're going to work up to 5 days a week. You may decide that each month you're going to add another day. So start with, okay, when is a time that it's going to be easy for me to go to the gym? What gym am I most likely to go to? Is it close? Does it need to be close by my house? Does it need to be exciting? Does it have to have fitness classes? What catches my interest, or what do I value? And then picking, okay, how many days seems doable? And do I need to go all out and get new fitness clothes? Do I need to, what do I need to do to make it likely that I'm actually going to follow through on this plan? And keep in mind that any change in behavior, whatever that looks like, is a success if it's in a positive direction. So you may decide, okay, well, I drove by the gym today and I thought about it, and the gym isn't on your route home. So, okay, well, that's a change in behavior. You drove by the gym and you thought, one of these days I'm going to go in there. You may do that for a week before you're like, okay, I'm just going to go in and find out the cost for this particular gym. Or just talk to one of their gym specialists or their trainers. That is, again, a change in behavior. You may have not set foot in that gym to work out yet, but it's a minor shift in your behavior that's doable. Then perhaps your next goal is, okay, I'm going to try that once a week workout and see what happens. And you give yourself a series of weeks to get it under or within that habit that you have of your day-to-day life. So if there's a week that you don't make it to the gym, that's not a failure. What you're looking for is every month, let's say, or every week is a new opportunity to try to reach whatever goal you've set. So it's not a matter of, well, if I'm not at 5 days a week in 5 months, then I've failed. It's, okay, this week I made it 1 day. How am I going to do next week? Well, next week I didn't make it at all because of these reasons. Do I need to reevaluate my goal? Do I need to look at how I'm going to shift my life around to make this more doable? Or did I just not want to go this week? And if that's the case, that's fine. Okay, that's how that week went. Now, your next week, you're going to approach it with, let's see what we can do this week. So, continuing that, you can gradually add a little bit at a time until you have that fully established habit that is exactly what you want, and it doesn't turn into kind of this flash in a pan New Year's resolution that might result in you, making it 2 more months at a gym that you're not really interested in, or paying gym memberships for like a 5th gym that's in town because, the other ones you've got memberships to but you don't ever go. We tend to assume as human beings that if we approach something the same way over and over and over, eventually something's going to change. And so I really encourage you this New Year's to think about how you're approaching those goals. Become more methodical. Do it differently than you did it last year so that you get a different result. So hopefully that's helpful. So just to do a quick recap, if you're going to change or add something to your habit, first of all, why did I develop this habit? What's going on in my life that is sustaining it, that's maintaining it? What do I have to adjust? What's important to me? What do I change to make this new habit fit? Then, what is my ultimate overall goal with this habit? So, like I said, maybe your goal ultimately is 5 weeks in the gym, or 5 days in the gym. But breaking that then down to what feels doable, what is manageable, where do you want to start? And if you have trouble breaking it down into something that's small enough, you'll know that it's too large if you set it as a goal for yourself and you just can't do it. You just can't make it happen. So your plan is to drive by the gym every night after work, and that's just not working. So let's drop it back to drive by once a week after work. Let's get that going. Your first goal that you pick should always be doable, even if it has to be minuscule, because success is what motivates us forward to make these healthy changes. So I look forward to hearing about some of the healthy changes people are making in their lives. I'm always interested in what motivates people to pick something to change and why that's important to you. So hopefully you have some wonderful success this year, and I will talk to you again in 2024. Bye!